I proposed to her on Christmas.
Yep, Christmas Eve.
My parents were, their house, the house I grew up on, and was always known for having huge parties. Everyone would gravitate towards my parents' house every holiday. My parents would have a big party. We've got a big family. And so I set up family, friends we hadn't seen in a long time, to show up at the house. And everybody was in on it, that I was going to propose to her that night. Now, Marcy had been part of the family. Marcy had been, with me for years already. So this was going to be essentially just a formality at this point. But nonetheless, nerves were kicking. I get there, everybody knew. Everybody wanted to share a drink with me. Everybody wanted to have a shot with me. So when the moment came for me to do it, let's say it took it took some real concentration on my part to make sure I was doing what I had intended to do that night. I might have been a little tipsy, to say the least.
And I had no idea. We show up from my mom's house, and we normally go over there for Christmas Eve, and they have like this big like tamale cooking party where all the family shows up, and this place was like crawling with people. That I was like, wow, everybody's like really crawling out of the woodwork tonight. They're all hanging out in the front yard, in the backyard, inside. It was wild. There was so many people. And we're hanging out in the living room, just chatting, and he calls everybody together. And I was thinking, what's he doing? Is he like praying or something? Like he's about to like give thanks. And he goes into this speech, because he's Anthony, and you know how he does his like random monologue.
My monologues.
He's thanking God, and he's like giving thanks for everything that we're grateful for. And then he gets down on one knee, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing?
She thought it fell. No, I'm joking.
She has made turkey dinners. And to keep it PG, we'll stop at that.
Yes, sir. And B?
I think the most romantic thing was one year we had told ourselves that we weren't going to get each other anything, and Derek surprised me with a gift. I woke up, and as soon as I exited the room, my gift was right in front of me. And it was
wrapped
with a big bow on it, and it was, yeah, he did good. It was a wave master. I was doing kickboxing a lot at the time.
Like a punching bag.
It was a punching bag.
So I guess what I've done for my spouse a couple of days prior to Christmas back in 2011 was I did propose to Whitney. I did it in a fashion to where we went to the place where we had our first date, which was Herman Park here in Houston, Texas.
I was gonna go back home for the holidays for Christmas, and he was just like, hey, let's go to dinner. And I was just kind of like, okay, cool. And so we went to the Cheesecake Factory, and then it was kind of weird because he like drove up to I think it's called the Williams Waterway or something like that. And I was kind of like, why are you driving up to, and he's like, oh, it's not on. And I was like, okay. I was like, was there something we're going to do here? And then so we ended up, he was like, how about we just go to the park or whatever? And I was like, okay, cool. So we ended up going to the park, and we're just, taking a nice stroll. And I was, he was talking to me, and all of a sudden we were like in front of this lake area. And then he was like, asking me to be his wife. And I was like, what is happening? And I said yes, of course. So I think as far as, something romantic that, I've done for, him during the holiday season was just that, during that time, it was, for us, we were kind of going through a transition and in our relationship, and it was, pretty tough. And I think he was under a lot of stress because he didn't really know if I was gonna, say yes to him. So we had been through a lot just to get to that point. And, I just kind of reassured him and let him know, like, you've always been the only one for me. So I would never even second guessed it. And so, you know, after that, we took pictures, we told our families and all of that. And I was still kind of irritated because I was like, I didn't have my nails done. I mean, my nails were like 2 weeks old. So I had this photo, like I posted on social media, my nails were like all chipped. I was like, thankfully the picture's blurry so nobody can really see. But yes, it was definitely one of the most romantic things that I've ever experienced.
Wow, that is really good. He does so many romantic things. It's not a particular season, but if when you're talking about Christmas, I think for Bernard and I, our romance is always spending time together, whether it's flying from, because we're from California. Anytime Christmas rolls around, we get to spend that time with our families. I know that's not romantic, but in our eyesight, anytime we can spend some time together, the two of us, we like it.
And Christmas time for us is never really about us. It's about who we can be a blessing to.
Yeah.
So we enjoy doing that, not only for our family, but for people as well.
She came down for Christmas, that Christmas in 2003, I think.
2004.
Okay, and when she came down, I'd already talked to her mother and father, got permission.
And my pastor.
And her pastor, of course. I talked to them, got permission and everything. So I met her. She came down in Houston. So we went by my mother's house for Christmas, and she's opening up gifts and stuff. Like we opened up gifts. Just got on my knee and proposed to her. And
what actually happened was, I knew I was supposed to spend the Christmas Day in Houston. So I had my best friend and her husband meet Terry halfway. So, because he was gonna drive me back. And so we met up, and when we got to his mother's house, there were like a series of gifts. And one of the gifts he gave me was like a makeup bag. Now, you know, I'm a makeup artist, so, and it was cute. It had my little initial on it. I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
That's right.
And so as I opened up the bag, it had like another bag in there. And I think it had some jewelry. And within that bag, it was a box. So by the time I opened up the box, he was on his knee and his mother was crying already. And I'm like, he hadn't even asked the question yet. I hope she better hope I say yes. But no, but yeah, that's how it happened. I believe, we both can agree that was like the most romantic thing for the both of us to do on Christmas Day.
My family is here. Merry Christmas to them. Also, I would like to say Merry Christmas to America, and please vote.
I want to give a shout out to all the family and friends. Most of my family is here in Houston, so Merry Christmas. And to my brother that is in California, Merry Christmas, and look forward to seeing you soon.
So I'd like to just say to all my family here at home in Houston, Illinois, Dallas, and all over, Merry Christmas, and I love you, and bless you all.
Well, I'd like to shout out to all my friends that's been in the Army and that is in the Army, and my nephews and nieces that's in the Army today, that we appreciate what they're doing to keep us safe and sound, and just lift them up and their families, that they come back home to them and their children, and just say thank you, God.
I'd like to shout out to my family in Illinois. They're basically all there, and my family here in Texas, which is Sean, Kaylee, Pat, Joyce, and Mookie.
Well, that is everyone. I want to wish a Merry Christmas to my firstborn Julius in California, to my second-born baby in Louisiana, all my family in Louisiana, Georgia, and in California. Merry Christmas.
I have family in Bangladesh, and I would definitely like to wish them a wonderful holiday season during this time. We celebrate Christmas, they celebrate something different, but it's all love. So I just wish them much love and joy during this Christmas time.
To all of my family, I want to say I love you and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
I'd love to send a Christmas shout out to all of our family that aren't with us that are in Arkansas, my brother in California, and my brother and his wife in San Antonio.